What is up, guys? We're back again today with another video. We got a 370Z that just showed up right now with some Afro Samurai stuff. Pretty freaking cool, honestly. This is our buddy Demetrius's car. Our buddy Andrew and Demetrius from Supra Culture are over here right now. We're getting ready for Supras in Vegas that we're going to be going to. I don't know if the car will actually be able to make it there. We have a whole bunch of super kind of off the shelf, kind of weird stuff that's done to this car with parts wise that we don't really know what's going to happen for. But we're gonna go ahead and get it inside, get it pushed in, get an idea of what we're working with. I know we're gonna be on a Link computer, a full standalone computer, not a plug and play computer. And then we have a fully custom wiring harness that one of my buddies made from South Carolina a long time ago that we had to go ahead and put some little input on to get modified to get going. I know it's a 1J ZVVTi, I'm not really sure about anything else. He has some weird kit from Supra store that he ended up having ordered for this thing, for the transmission. So we're not really sure what's going to be going on with that. We're probably going to have to pull it all out of the car. Hoping it's not a complete mess, but I guess we'll just see right now. All right, guys, so we got the 370Z right here, and you can kind of look and check everything out. I love the Afro Samurai whole vibe. The bay's red, got the red engine. The reds kind of don't match. I would have kind of stuck with the blood red because I just think that's kind of more poppy than running this. We did notice that he's running the KS Racing mounts from Thailand. This is like a really old kit that doesn't really work, in my opinion, for what he's gonna want. The engine sits completely kiltered and not crooked, so the option is gonna be probably to save him some money, possibly plasma cutting these holes in here to open it up to be able to shim this and move it around. There's no transmission on it. It looks like he has a Clutch Masters clutch kit back here if you look down in the back here, and some kind of a flywheel that we'll basically have to measure and figure out what the deal is. It was a cut kit, so I'm assuming it's going to be probably very consistent with the Collins kit or the Autosport kit, but we'll have to go ahead and just check that out. And then as far as turbo, obviously been removed, battery still there. We got some power inside, all the wiring's here. We already have a good start on the wiring harness. Someone started to kind of work on it and had us kind of walk them through what needed to get done, but I'm gonna go ahead and still put my twist on it to make it look good and everything else too. We're gonna have to remove power steering. We gotta rip the front end off. I don't know how much different this is gonna be than the G35 because this is a newer car. This is a 370Z, not a 350Z. So probably gonna be a little bit different. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the headlights. We're gonna go ahead and remove the bumper. We're gonna go ahead and remove this upper panel. The radiator, he has an aluminum radiator. He's gotten here on the OEM fans, which as you've seen from the 350Zs, or sorry, as we've seen from the G35 setup that we're building inside right now, this is just not going to work. It's hitting everything, it's touching everything. It's just not going to be okay. As far as his radiator neck, we can possibly use this. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll have to just kind of get into it once we get there. We got to go ahead and put a different manifold on it. I almost feel like the engine might not even be far enough back, but since he did make a mistake with the transmission that we'll go over in a little bit, based on just not knowing what kit it was or having any information, and just kind of the people that sold him the stuff just kind of didn't do a good job of educating him and helping him through this. So obviously stuff gets broken or messed up, we're going to go ahead and help him out. These are some of our close friends, but the car is just absolutely beautiful. Just have to say this is going to be so dope when it's done. The interior in these cars is just freaking dope too. So he's got this really expensive Vertex steering wheel in here that just looks super awesome with the red and everything too to match everything. He's got the little Vertex thing over here too. Just super cool. Overall, just cannot wait until this is done. So another couple of things that were going on with this too to just kind of show as well. We're gonna end up probably removing all the AC like we did in the other one as well, because it's just too tight. There's just not going to be enough room. It's not going to fit right. You know, the heater stuff, I'm even contemplating possibly removing everything under the dash just to have more room. But we'll kind of get into all this, you know, as we get everything inside and get working on it. But I'm going to have them pull the engine out right now and just kind of get it on a stand so we can start working on everything in here and just making it look nicer and cleaning everything up, because this is just kind of a mess. So let's get it.
I know you guys didn't see any of this, but I just took apart the front end of the 350Z. It's pretty freaking easy. You take the bumper off, you take the headlights off, and then you have bolts in the front here that you take off on both sides, and then there's bolts in the front. Then you just pretty much pull the whole thing off. You have to take that piece off too. And that's pretty much it for the front end, to be honest with you. And then your 350Z looks like this. It makes it a lot easier to pull the motor out. We have to make sure that these motor mounts here are not bolted in at the bottom on both sides. If they aren't, then I'm pretty sure this thing will just come straight out, because they just put it in there. They try to get it straight, but obviously, as you can see, it's not very straight. So that's what I'm gonna be doing next, and you guys will watch us pull this motor out.
All right, so I just pulled the clutch and flywheel off, and look at the rear main seal. This is not how you install a rear main seal, guys. That's how you do it, so that the crank rips the seal in half and then leaks everything everywhere. Just so everybody knows, this seal is supposed to be flat with this. So we're gonna have to go ahead and remove this now and then go ahead and replace the seal, because they're not reusable. So as far as clutch, we got the Clutch Masters special right here with kind of like the Chinese style disc from like XTD. And then I guess they have their pressure plate, which says made in USA, even though it's probably still made in China. I don't know which flywheel this is, but we pulled the flywheel off, and he's running automatic bolts for his clutch kit. You can't do that. That's how you like have your flywheel come loose on you. And then this pilot bearing is kind of interesting. It's similar to all the other companies, but you have like needle bearings inside. I mean, I guess it works. But we're gonna go ahead and put all this stuff inside. I'm gonna measure and see if this is our typical cut kit flywheel, or I don't really know. Just this is where we're at right now. We're gonna get the engine on a stand and start fixing a bunch of other stuff. Like the drive-by-wire is totally hooked up backwards and doesn't even work. And we have a whole bunch of stuff on this that we're not going to be using or doing. So, I mean, the other thing too that I'm not a big fan of is we have a oil cooler set up on here, which is, I mean, that's great for like a drift car that's going to be getting beaten on and raced on all day. I mean, but for the application we're using for this, I don't really think this is necessary. It's cool because we do have the ports here to screw stuff into, but I mean, still, like, he could have just left it alone and it would have been fine. So I don't know. I mean, even with this, I understand why he put this here, because it would end up having like a clearance issue. But I mean, if he had just bought the right mount kit, it would have been down here and we wouldn't have had an issue anyways. Plus, not to mention, I'm pretty sure he put his mounts on backwards. So we're just gonna probably just delete these and ditch these all together completely, because it just doesn't really work right. So I don't know. Let's take it apart right now and get it all back together and see if we can get it back in the car with all the right stuff. So we're already pretty balls deep in this thing. We're gonna go ahead, we just went ahead and removed all the water system. We gotta finish pulling the dampener off, pulled his oil cooler off, pulled his AC compressor off. I went ahead and cleaned the whole runner assembly inside and out, just because it was really nasty. And we're gonna go ahead and start putting the exhaust manifold on. We're gonna go ahead and put the water pump block off here, remove the mounts, because we're gonna get some new ones for those. Pull the drain off, get an adapter for this, go ahead and just start getting everything that needs to get done on this. Valve covers and also have to come off anyways again, because we're gonna go ahead and have to do cams, because we're gonna try to go for about 500 horsepower he said he wanted. So, and in stock form, there's no way in hell he's going to get that. We got a comp turbo that we already got in box for him, got the manifold, waiting on the wastegate from Real Street, a couple other things. But right now, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we got our brand new FMS 1200cc injectors. This is one of our plug and play kits that we make to one JZ VVTi, the direct drop-in replacement. It'll go right in, 11 millimeter top, 14 millimeter bottom. I don't know about the paint on this. The paint's kind of a little funky, but I mean, it is what it is. We'll just get it all together, and that way we can at least get running in the car. But we're gonna go ahead and get these in right now. So let's check it out. I love this kit because this is how plug and play it is. It's literally just drop right the fuck in and bolt the hell down, and let's go. And the coolest shit is with this rail, since it's already top feed, all we gotta do is go ahead and put basically, it's got a Toyota thread, like it's 1.25 or 1.5 or something like that to -6. Drift Motion sells the adapters, or you can get them online after you figure out what thread they are. And you just go to -6 on both sides, and then you're already ready to go. So we have a lot of customers that ran them like this for a while. And it made good numbers. I mean, we've done 600 horsepower on a setup like this. It's been great, you know, and there's kind of no problem at all with running these. So a lot of the 1.5Js that we'll do too, since I have so many of these rails and this whole runner assembly, I'll just actually convert this whole entire assembly here onto like a non-VVTi, and then you don't need to deal buying a fuel rail. You can just run the one that you had. And I mean, it's still pretty big. It's about a 6 the whole way through. I mean, usually they're about 8 the whole way through, but I mean, it'll still do the job for what it is, especially for this customer. He'll have no problems at all with that. So let's go ahead and start getting the intake manifold back on. We got a couple things we need to go ahead and fix on this. He doesn't have the throttle body attachment on right, so he's never going to get throttle, so we're going to have to fix that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get that all bolted back together. All right guys, so the intake manifold is back on. The injectors, you already saw that we installed. I went ahead and put the drive-by-wire delete in here now, so when you go in here now, you actually have oscillation and the throttle actually works. So I don't know why they had this bolted on the opposite direction and thought it was going to work. It was not going to work like that. So we've gone ahead and deleted everything underneath the intake manifold. This is no longer going to be an issue. And then what we're going to do as well, that we've already done on this too, is the water pump pipe that goes back here on the block that runs all the way around the back and goes back into the engine over here, into the OEM oil cooler attachment. We went ahead and deleted that because we want clearance, and I mean, you want to have as least amount of problems you could possibly have with your engine, with, you know, having coolant leaks and having stuff be able to be messed up like that, you know, at the track or wherever you're going to be driving. It looks like they went ahead and replaced the oil pump, because I'm seeing some silicone here and a couple other things too. I'll have to go ahead and go over that with them. I hope they did that correctly. I didn't pull the pan on this, so I don't know. Maybe it was a rear sump engine that they converted to front sump. I don't really know, but the pump's definitely been replaced. I just noticed that right now. I do dig the red pulleys. Those are pretty cool actually. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and remove the stud. We'll go ahead and remove the knock sensors because we're going to be using a different system for monitoring on Danny's Plex. We'll go ahead and weld up this port on right there to eliminate the water coming out of there too. And then we'll go ahead and put an oil block adapter or oil filter attachment, or even the OEM NA, you know, oil filter housing on there to get all this back together how it's supposed to be. We could even run our oil pressure sensor in here on the OEM attachment, as long as we use a VVTi bolt. So we'll have to just look and see what he has for that kind of stuff. But all in all, she's pretty much ready to go. We have the exhaust manifold brand new in box over there that we're going to be going ahead and putting on. It's one of these super nice peak boost manifolds that you'll see right here on this one. Just super, super badass, super nice. You'll see them on a few of the other channels, people running them and stuff too. They're very nice manifold. We go ahead and cut off the V-band, or cut off the 4-bolt and put a V-band on it. So yeah guys, we're almost there to having the engine be ready. We just went ahead and ordered the kit from Collins Adapter. This car is just so badass though. I just love it. Cannot wait to get this thing done. So I hope you guys liked the video. Super cool car. Don't get to work on very many new cars. I mean, it was our first G35. If you haven't watched our other video about that, the JZ is already in that. We're actually almost done with video for part 2. It just looks super, super dope. We did a lot of cleanup on it. Just it's coming along very, very well. But this car, they've been waiting to get it in here for a while. I know Super Culture has been bugging me about having us go ahead and move forward with this. I know they've just been wanting to get it done as their team for their team cars. Our other buddy from there as well is going to be bringing his Supra in a few months as well, who's the main head of Super Culture, my buddy Andrew. So it's going to be cool to have them both have their cars back, rocking their stickers, rocking their, you know, their brand and moving forward. I mean, but anyone have any questions about this thing or want to know anything more about it, don't feel free to go ahead and comment in, you know, any of the videos. And I try to answer pretty much every single comment that anybody leaves, just because, I mean, they're questions. If you don't know how to contact me on Instagram and you only have YouTube or don't have social media, that's kind of where it's going to have to be done. So yeah, until next time guys, peace.